Women's higher education and the right to earn a degree of the same quality as a man, specifically in medicine, is in many senses a very recent right. Despite numerous obstacles, women have persisted in their quest for equal educational opportunities. During the 19th century, the majority of medical knowledge was predominantly shaped, taught, and controlled by white men. Prominent men in the medical field utilized self-styled scientific justifications to unleash fears about the deleterious effects of higher education on women's biological and social role. A central figure in this narrative was Dr. Edward Hammond Clark of Harvard University. In 1874, he published Sex and Education, A Fair Chance for Girls, wherein he argued that higher education posed a threat to women's health and hindered their reproductive capacity. This publication marked a pivotal moment in history, stirring controversy and prompting a strong response from some remarkable pioneer women. Led by an eminent physician and activist, Dr. Mary Putnam Jacoby, these women sought to challenge and disprove Clark's theories. Through rigorous scientific inquiry, they raised awareness about science-based gender bias and its repercussions. This historical turning point showcased the resilience and determination of these women. It illustrated the significant impact of their efforts in reshaping perceptions and advancing the cause of gender equality in medical education. In colonial America during the 1700s, seminaries served as the primary educational option for women, while a select few from affluent families attended universities in Europe. Following the American Revolution, a limited number of educators established female academies. These institutions catered to white upper-class women, preparing them to be companions to nurture the next generation of male leaders. The early 1800s witnessed the establishment of around 50 women's colleges and the first co-educational institution. However, in the 1830s, as women were being educated for roles as teachers, many male educators assumed their intellectual capacity was inferior. The women's rights movement gained momentum after the Seneca Falls Convention of 1848, advocating for comprehensive education at all colleges, including campaigns for admission to medical schools. In 1849, Elizabeth Blackwell earned a place in history when she became the first woman in the U.S. to earn a medical degree. The onset of the Civil War created more educational opportunities for women as young men went off to fight. In the years after the Civil War, women's colleges experienced rapid growth, and co-education became more prevalent in state universities and land-grant institutions, partially funded by the 1862 Morrill Act. The industrialization of the nation accelerated urbanization, and a substantial increase in immigration further expanded women's access to education during this period. Despite the progress, women medical graduates still faced obstacles such as widespread exclusion from hospital training and practice. In response to these challenges, Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell and other activists established the Women's Medical College of the New York Infirmary in 1868 with high standards. However, women medical graduates continued to face challenges with internships, residencies, clinical positions, and membership in medical societies. Adding to these barriers, the editors of the Journal of the American Medical Association argued that the energy women invested in pursuing professional goals would significantly interfere with their reproductive functions.
Open discrimination took place in medical schools.
Around this time, Dr. Edward Clark was a prominent member of the Boston medical elite as a former professor at Harvard Medical School. Driven by growing concerns over the rising incidence of disease among women and a decline in fertility, Clark embarked on a mission to employ medical science to uncover the underlying issues. His research culminated in the publication of Sex and Education in 1873, a work that garnered widespread popularity during the 1870s. Clark's premise centered on the belief that women could menstruate and think or respond to medical emergencies simultaneously without risk. According to his theory, boys could endure the challenges of college, while girls were incapable of both studying in college and reproducing. Expanding on his research, Clark published Sex and Education, or A Fair Chance for Girls as a book in 1874. He incorporated European research suggesting that adolescent girls thrived when they left school to pursue studies at home. When the book was released, opponents of women in education seized upon the book as confirmation of their views, particularly regarding safety concerns. However, the publication triggered a vehement backlash from women. Influential women of the era determined to counter Clarke's theories with sound science emerged. Astronomer Maria Mitchell and suffragist Helen Hamilton Gardner presented compelling evidence against his ideas, including case studies and letters from authorities. The most powerful refutations was delivered by Dr. Mary Putnam Jacobi, a prominent physician. While acknowledging Blackwell's earlier work, Jacobi argued for women's equal access to the best education, asserting their equal capabilities. In 1876, Jacobi became the first woman to receive Harvard University's Boylston Prize for her essay, later published as The Question of Rest for Women During Menstruation, scientifically dismantling Clarke's justification for discrimination. Jacobi debunked Clarke's arguments with rigorous numerical data, charts, and analysis. She compiled survey results covering a woman's monthly pain, cycle length, daily exercise, and education, along with physiological indicators. Muscle strength tests conducted before, during, and after menstruation demonstrated the stability of women's health, regardless of physical and mental exertion. Following Jacobi's widely acclaimed rebuttal, a coalition of eminent women educators, activists, authors, and prestigious universities joined forces to contribute to a book titled Sex and Education, aimed against Clarke's arguments. The controversy sparked by Clarke's book prompted women's institutions to adopt a defensive stance and compromise their ambitious educational ideals, yielding to societal expectations of genteel domesticity. The event also triggered the establishment of the American Association of University Women in 1881. Over the ensuing decades, the association dedicated itself to advancing educational opportunities for women and funding research aimed at debunking Clarke's theories. The widespread readership of the book across the country fueled anxieties about college women's futures for the next few decades. They were worried about becoming invalids, as mentioned in Clarke's clinical case reports. However, opponents of women's education continued to uphold and reference his findings as part of their rebuttal. Jacobi was called out for her position on controversial issues such as her willingness to perform ovariotomies and her support of vivisection. Some experts in the neuroeducation field have regarded Clarke's works as groundbreaking. They argue that its efforts represent some of the earliest attempts to integrate neuroscience with education, highlighting the complex legacy and varied interpretations of the field. The journey towards achieving legal prohibitions on gender discrimination ultimately concluded with Title IX of the Educational Amendments of 1972. This pivotal achievement, however, had its roots in the efforts of the trailblazing woman who dared to challenge the status quo dominated by the white male's establishment, particularly in the field of medical education. Their inspirational actions paved the way for women's increased access to medical education. This led to remarkable achievements by women, such as the establishment of hospitals, Nobel Prize victories, leadership roles in medical schools, groundbreaking medical innovations, administrative positions in government agencies, and significant improvement of the health of millions. Women have triumphed over both tangible and philosophical challenges to their intellectual capacity and physical well-being, securing access to higher education. Dr. Jacobi's scientific refutation of Dr. Clarke's book played a pivotal role in expanding the participation of women in the sciences, challenging preconceived notions about sex differences and female cognition. It is the courage and determination of these pioneer women in history that have left an undeniable mark, paving the way for the impactful contributions of numerous women physicians in our society today. Their legacy resonates as a testament to the transformative powers of perseverance and the pursuit of gender equality in education and beyond.